let us examine what is meant by economic reasoning and why it is important. Every society must address three fundamental economic problems. First, what goods and services is the society going to produce? Second, how will these goods and services be produced? That is, what technology will be used to transform inputs into outputs. Third, who will have what claim to society's goods and services that are produced? That is, how will they be distributed? So we have the production issue, technology issue, and the distributional issue. These three problems are fundamental to any society. Since resources are scarce, but the need for goods and services and for factors of production exceed their supply, there needs to be choices that must be made which will tend to improve society's economic welfare. This scarcity issue, which necessitates choice, is where economic reasoning can be useful as an aid to good public policy. Economic reasoning by itself will not provide the full answers, as the society's vision and needs must be thought of and they should be in accordance then with the economic productivity and the economic capabilities of the societies. The two should be aligned. What is the fundamental difference between the way economists look at the world and the non-economists? The non-economists are more likely to argue in terms of yes or no type of proposition. Are you, for example, for foreign direct investment, or are you against foreign direct investment? Many of those binary type of choices miss the kind of nuances that economic reasoning can help to bring into focus. Economists argue in terms of more or less, not yes or no. So in terms of FDI, the economic reasoning would be, what is the appropriate balance between the foreign direct investment and domestic production? What are the complementarities? Where we might have more of FDI or less of FDI? On what terms and conditions? How should we manage our environment and capacities so that we get the desired balance between the FDI in a particular sector and the domestic production and activity in that sector? So when one is thinking at the margin in terms of little bit more, little bit less, there is less likely to be polarization and more likely to be a kind of reasoning together process that also builds social trust in each other and that provides the society with a way to reason some of the difficult public policy choices that need to be made. Now what that implies in terms of a little bit more or a little bit less is that we must have flexibility. We cannot have set positions which tend to govern all our reactions to different types of public policy issues. In many civil service training particularly, there is very little of economic reasoning skills which are imparted, and as a result, not necessarily by choice, a lot of civil service training is geared towards yes-no type of proposition, and since it is yes-no type of proposition, the importance of good quality numbers, statistical systems, and the empirical evidence-based public policies which are essential, their importance get minimized in the process. So increasingly the civil service training and indeed the general training recognizes that an economic perspective, economic reasoning perspective, can be a valuable tool for good decision making, both in terms of the individual as well as in terms of organizations and public policies.